And now
So before you start, real quick, Maggie Gyllenhaal, she was looking kind of cute.
So I have an interesting story with Maggie Gyllenhaal on this.
Oh.
Okay. So going way back to the first time I heard about Donnie Darko was when before they were in production on the movie. So my sister was cast as an extra in the film, just in one of the other school kids or walking by in the background. And my mom was on set at the time, and they also got her ready to be on it. Now, from the story I remember, they both were not in the movie. They never actually appeared on camera. Mm-hmm. But while my sister was off on the side of the set, when she was a kid, she had also auditioned a lot with Lindsay Lohan, went up for the same roles. They kind of had a similar look. But lots of friends would confuse her sometimes for Maggie Gyllenhaal. And on the set, people were confusing her with Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Really?
Like, the production people were coming up to her and saying, hey, Maggie, do you need this, that, and I'm not her.
Give me a bagel.
Interesting, too, is her character's name in the movie is Elizabeth. My sister's name is Elizabeth. So on the set, that can also get confusing if she looks just like her and has the same name as her character name. So I'm thinking maybe the reason that she isn't in the background of the movie is that once they got her to set and realized she looked too close to Maggie Gyllenhaal and didn't really want to put her in the background, because then you're watching the movie and you're like, wait, she's in the background of that scene, shouldn't she be over there? So that's why when I got the DVD signed by Richard Kelly, I have it signed to my sister and to my mom, because they were on there at the time, and I got in a good discussion with him at the time, and he went, so we're talking about USC Film School, because he went there, and I had just gotten rejected from there, so it was good talking to him about, and he was saying, you don't really need film school, and it's true, all the movies I've made now today without having gone to film school, I can count, I don't even want to list them, there's so many great movies that I've made because of that, but you look at all the movies that, this is the first movie he made after film school, and after Donnie Darko, Richard Kelly's gone on to huge hits, such as, of course, it's the ones that didn't do too well, with The Box and Southland Tales, which, the signing was for the prep before Southland Tales was going to come out.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. He did some other movies, but that's kind of the problem with having a cult hit is you can't really capture that again, and everyone is going to compare every single film he does to Donnie Darko, and it's not going to be Donnie Darko after that. Donnie Darko, Southland Tales, The Box. Amicus is his next movie that he's working on. So we'll see. He wrote Domino, but he didn't direct that one. And the other short films were while he was in there. Now, I like The Box. It was based on the Twilight Zone episode.
I haven't seen
where the premise of the Twilight Zone episode is that you've got this box.
You made a movie on that?
Yeah.
What the hell?
It goes really crazy. It starts out pretty simple. I recommend checking it out. It's an interesting movie.
Is that on Netflix?
I don't think so. Southland Tales was, but if you get the DVDs, you can get them. Southland Tales is epic and crazy, really out there. I liked it. Other people really didn't.
Epic and crazy.
Yeah, it's really it's a weird epic film. Like it's definitely you see, it's an artist's vision.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I guess you could kind of compare it to what's the Wachowski siblings movie, the last one they did, based on Cloud Atlas.
Cloud Atlas.
Yeah, it's similar to Cloud Atlas in its scope and scale.
So everyone thinks it's pretentious. Okay.
Everyone mostly thinks it's stupid and too much.
The opposite. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just. It's interesting, but it's some funny stuff. It's interesting movie. Kevin Smith, I guess, is a huge fan of Donnie Darko. He's on the commentary to the director's cut with Richard Kelly, and he also appears in Southland Tales afterwards. So they became friends, got signing from that. So that's my rambling off from the story of that. So I didn't see this movie when it first came out in theaters, even though my sister was in it, because it had such a limited release. But then my friends started seeing it, and so I found out it was out there. And I only saw it once the director's cut was out, which didn't come out until 2004, so I couldn't have seen it until 2004 or 2005 on DVD.
Cool.
So, that's that story.
And you.
This is my first time watching the one. So so you went in depth into the research of this.
Yeah.
Probably because it was time travel and
because it was my first time appreciating the film.
Okay.
and time travel, of
Like,
course.
why did I like it so
I don't
much?
know why I'd be looking into time travel right now.
You're always looking into that. It's always a good time for time travel. Yeah.
It's about your kids.
Wait, we don't have enough road to get up to 80 miles per hour.
We're going. We don't need.
That's Jurassic
It is
I always,
Jurassic Park.
whenever I sing Back to the
but
Future
right
thing,
when
I go into Jurassic Park.
When you did it, I didn't notice that.
Dun,
Okay, anyway.
dun, dun,
Okay, so he doesn't go back in time. It appears that way because he's laughing in bed and smiling.
Yeah.
And when he should just be asleep or whatever.
Yeah.
That is explained as, and it's also it's because everyone. This has happened.
I never thought he went back in time.
There's a primary
Explain
universe.
what happens here.
There's a primary universe.
Yes.
And there's a tangent universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the primary universe is like the original. We don't see it. We don't see what anything pretty much that
Starting
happens.
off in fear.
Yes, sure, why not? And most of everything that occurs in the primary universe we don't see. Most of the movies in the tangent. And now the primary universe goes just normal. Donnie dies, I believe, on October 2nd in the primary one.
Yeah.
It's not explicitly said. This is my understanding.
Okay.
I'm not going to say I'm 100% right. And then on October 2030, October 2030, that's the date, I believe.
Yeah. It's kind of October 31st, but it's
the jet
after
engine. The jet engine gets sent back in time, but what it actually gets sent to is it creates a tangent universe. That's what it is. Is that the jet engine going back in time creates a tangent universe that splits off and creates a whole other universe. Now, and then this tangent universe, because it's been created, it's created this loop that shouldn't exist, and it's a paradox, and it's bad. And basically, every time the tangent universe is run multiple times.
Yes.
Multiple times. And what ends up happening is that Donnie doesn't figure out the right answer. So what we're watching is the account of him figuring out the right answer and getting to the right answer. So
he doesn't figure out how to close the loop.
Yes, he doesn't figure out how to close the loop until this, what we watch.
Yeah. So what's supposed to happen initially is that he dies on October 2nd.
Yeah.
It's all good. But what happened is was sleepwalking, got away from that. He somehow broke out of it. Broke out of the time. Because they were talking about the projections of where they're supposed to go and that's following those things, but he didn't go on that.
I think he does die in the primary. He's supposed to die in the primary universe, and he does die. I think in my mind he does die the first time. But he does and he doesn't. It's weird because it's the fact that this is sent back that creates the tangent universe. So when the primary universe gets to that point and suddenly this thing appears, tangent universe gets created, because this engine gets sent back. Because
this thing, there's a wormhole at a specific time.
Yeah.
That pops up when the plane flies through it, sucks the.
And this is explained as just every once in a very long time, the fourth dimensional.
They talk about it in the movie
time
that
gets fucked and a wormhole gets created.
Yeah, that every so often there's a wormhole, and if you happen to have a vessel that can travel through it at that moment, if you happen to find one of these, then you can travel through time.
And this is just a coincidence. So where there happened to be, yeah.
I actually saw it differently. There's a point where he's talking to the professor, and he says, they do talk about the actual physical time travel as being one thing, but he says, well, if you're able to know these things and kind of look into the future, then that's a type of time travel, even though it's not a physical one.
Yeah.
So to me...
Like seeing into the orbs there.
Yeah, to me, I thought that he knew that there could be two different splits, and he knew this split.
He knows that, yeah.
So it was more, it wasn't actually, to me, it wasn't a physical one. It was him kind of understanding and seeing this other, worse scenario, I guess, where all his family are just kind of fucked and people die.
Yeah. Now, where did you get did you read anything from this that got you the idea of it's happened multiple times in this?
Yeah, because all of Frank the Bunny, his girl, all these people that have been, basically, they're in this book, or in the book, or whatever it is, Philosophy of Time, there's this whole like thing about, you know, there's like an artifact, and the artifact is the thing that causes the time screw, and artifacts are made of metal, and then it goes on to explain that the person that's chosen is the living, I can't remember the words they use. Geez, it's like so complicated. It took me a while even to dissect it at home. The living receiver, and the living receiver is like the chosen one who inevitably ends up fixing time, but he doesn't always get the answer. And so there's the manipulated dead, and basically anyone connected to the living receiver who dies in the tangent universe becomes a manipulated dead. And basically what that means is that their courses of action become predetermined and fated to change what the living receiver does.
Okay.
So that he does the right thing so it occurs over and over until like the living dead or the manipulated dead finally get, and finally do the right course of action. And it took the girlfriend dying to do that. That's
So in just watching this movie, in the way that as I was just watching without looking into any of the stuff, what I really loved about the movie,
it's way deeper than it even lets on.
Yeah.
Like
without going in all of that stuff in there. What I appreciated about it is it's a similar thing to Butterfly Effect, or looking into maybe What a Wonderful Life, or Wonderful Life.
Oh yeah,
Wonderful.
It's a Wonderful
It's
Life.
Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
There, with the thought of if you didn't live, what would life be like?
Yeah.
Now in that one, it's look at how terrible the world would be if you weren't in this.
Yeah.
But this is a different way. This is the darker version of that,
Total
which
opposite.
is he lived. This jet engine fell through that they don't know where it came from. It fell through and he lived. Isn't that crazy? Now he destroys the school, destroys this person's house. This person, the guy, the bullshit artist, gets found out for being a pedophile because of that. The teacher loses her job because he was doing the acts that were based off what she was teaching. So they blame her partially for that. His girlfriend, the girl that he meets, dies, gets run over. He shoots Frank because of that.
And I'm assuming his mom and sister also died.
Yes,
In
they
the
died in
alternate
the plane
reality-
crash because it was supposed to be the other woman who was going to be on there, and maybe they would have taken a different plane.
Or
back
maybe
or
they
something.
wouldn't even have gone.
Maybe they
I'm
wouldn't even
assuming,
gone.
If they're
So many things could have
brother
gone, but
died.
they couldn't have. But they died because of it. So people lost their jobs. People's lives were destroyed. Maybe even that bullshit guy. Sure, that's good that he maybe that's best that happened to him, but it's all these people's lives are dramatically changed because he's alive.
Yeah.
And he can look back at it and realize, oh wait, that was supposed to. If that would have killed me, I would have never met these people. I would have never met that girl. I would have never caused all of this down the line.
And I think it's mostly the girl. His girl. I think
That's
the others are
definitely-
bonuses
Yeah.
to him, but it's like
he's
the
doing
girl.
it. He's doing it for the girl. He's doing it to save her. But there's all of that that's around him, and it's a very dark version of the story of It's a Wonderful Life,
The
where it's
opposite.
instead of that person who's got the suicidal thoughts that what if I wasn't around? What if I was not here?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe everyone would be better off if you weren't alive. But he does such
It's so emo.
but it becomes such a heroic death because of that. He's
Yeah.
sacrificing himself.
That's why emos like this
everyone
movie
else.
so much.
I think so. I think that really gets
Yeah.
it in there.
to burst your bubble, from what I've
Okay.
read, he didn't have to die.
But what I'm saying is, it
I understand.
this.
I understand. No, I know. Like,
he could have gone through.
without doing my research, I thought, oh, him dying was it fixing it. No, it wasn't. It was the fact that when it went back in time, it created the tangent universe, and then when it gets to the end and he doesn't find the answer, what happens is that the universe resets itself, and then it constantly plays over the tangent universe.
But how do you
over
break
and
that
over.
loop?
This is a lot that they don't explain. The living receiver has all these like superpowers basically, and he has like telekinesis and all this shit. Like it's. I know.
I'm gonna say-
This is what I've read,
No, I
and
don't.
I'm just saying.
I want nothing to do.
I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm pretty sure. I'm sticking with my thing on that. That seems to get way too. You have to have gone through creating this split thing and all of that. I like my simplicity in this.
That's fine.
I'm happy with my version of it. Now, that's the great thing about a movie like this is you when you can have different
I just
love it for different reasons, like different and explain different things about it.
And something like this you can break apart.
I guess
a lot of
then
different
I'll
theories.
ask because I understand, and that's how I thought of it at first, but I never really got why. What is it about him dying? Why did he need to die? Why does that correct?
It's not
and not
that he-
in the world in October 3rd?
No, it's not that it necessarily needs to
universe.
die. He doesn't need. I don't think he needs to die. And see, this is the thing of.
What was
Looking
it
at it
that
one
he-
way, it doesn't necessarily need to loop and be a constant loop. Like he could have killed all those people and not met up with the wormhole to have him dead at that point in time, and he could have gone on, and all these people's lives could have been ruined in that way, and it could have kept on going. That's how I see this could have gone. Not that it needs to loop at that point. So he doesn't need to die, but he has the chance to die. He has the opportunity that he can go back and change things at that one moment, because that's the moment when that wormhole is open.
Okay.
It receives the other end of that wormhole is October 2nd, and that's where it's gonna end up to go back in time, and that's where that all launches from, that happening. So if he doesn't get it done by that time, it all goes on. But she's dead, he's dead. All of these, his mom and his sister are dead. Like those are all. It's all gonna happen of as it was going. That's how I see it going, and not in a Groundhog's Day kind of loop.
The loop, admittingly, is probably like the weakest point of that, and I don't really like that there's the loop, but everything else, and like even the powers, but
Yeah.
basically, and then another thing that was explained was that apparently if it wasn't sent back and fixed, that the tangent universe would collapse on itself and create a black hole.
Possibly.
And
Maybe
then-
the world, because as you were saying, the world can end.
And then
will
destroy
die.
both universes.
It
but-
could, but so that's why, and my version of it's just, it doesn't have to do that loop. But because I didn't read into it, and someone
I
put the rules
understand.
out that
I
said
want to look it up.
it has
now,
to do
though.
this loop. Now,
It's so intricate, and like looking into
having
it is
seen-
crazy.
in having seen Richard Kelly's other films, I know that he can get into that kind of crazy stuff. So I understand that. I'm sure that could be a version of
That
him
might
out
have
there.
been the intention.
And I can't remember what the commentary said on the thing. Or the cut,
I
but,
want to watch the commentary.
now we'll need to rewatch
Yeah, I
that.
know,
We'll
the
have
commentary.
to go more in depth into this movie on our own and research that. Maybe it is in there for all that, but I appreciate it in that way. But it's the thing, like it's Marcellus Wallace's briefcase in Pulp Fiction. It's the
Yeah.
they don't explain it, so it's up to the viewers to then go on and find their own reasoning behind it. But either way, any way that you look at it, it's causing this discussion. It's causing this being into this much interested in the story.
Apparently, where all this comes from is the book, The Philosophy of Time Travel.
Well, according to the marketing on this, they released in 2003. They released the Donnie Darko book, which was written by Richard Kelly, which included pages from the Philosophy of Time Travel. The book and the movie. So that was written by Richard Kelly. So you can tie that into
Right, yeah,
So I
yeah.
understand that.
Yeah. And that's why
But
that's
another
where
part
this
of
came from.
Yeah, another part of this
That's
movie is
why.
that it's not. I mean, there is a director's cut. This is the cut that was released by the studio
Right.
and by them. So in this version of it, so you can see it in one way, and maybe in his version is another way to look at it. Any other crazy in-depth stuff? Yeah,
I like time travel.
Time travel's great.
Time travel's awesome.
Yeah, especially if you make a time travel movie that is interesting, especially where the movie isn't necessarily all about time travel, but it happens to be this element in there that causes all the getting stuff. It's some good stuff. But I think he sacrificed himself. Good dying there.
Yeah.
Answer is, if you think you should kill yourself, then I'm not gonna finish that.
Alright.
A lot of people are gonna be dead watching this. All 10 viewers. Thanks for watching.
This movie is definitely a creepy movie too.
Yeah. No, it's definitely creepy. The bunny is some creepy stuff on there. The music's all that nice bit of creepy there. All set around Halloween.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
And just determinism, free will. And,
yes.
And all that. That's what that's for me. That's what's fucking creepy.
Yeah. But
Uh,
especially going through if you're thinking about all those things.
Yeah.
and grander scheme of universes
Mhm.
and how just all that.
Yeah.
It's all creepy.
Yep. Good stuff.
Gets under my skin.
All right. Good. good stuff. So next week we'll talk about S. Darko. No. Yeah. See you next week with Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon.
Hell yeah, man.